It's the last day of substitutions for the 2022 polls, and President Rodrigo Duterte is expected to file his COC for vice president, going against his daughter, Mayor Sara Duterte. And as his former aide, Senator Bong Go files his COC for president, the chief executive declares he's not supporting the presidential bid of former Senator Bongbong Marcos. Marcos Jr. and Senate President Lacson-Sotto topped the presidential and vice presidential race in a commissioned SWS survey. Vice President Leni Robredo, on the other hand, is seeing an increase in numbers and now ranks higher than Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. Retired PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar is running for senator under the lineup of another former top cop, Senator Ping Lacson. And check out the different interpretations of the nativity scene in this year's Belenissimo in Tarlac. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. All eyes are on President Rodrigo Duterte today, as he is expected to return to Comelec, this time to file his candidacy as Senator Bongo's vice president. Mean Los Baños with the story.
At past 1 p.m. on Saturday, Lacson-Sotto's vice presidential bet Lyle Uy withdrew his certificate of candidacy or COC, allowing Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte to file as a substitute candidate for the party she joined only last Thursday. Uy refused to answer questions on his move while Sara's spokesperson said a statement will be out soon. Partido Federal ng Pilipinas chairman and standard-bearer Bongbong Marcos then adopted her as their candidate. Meanwhile, Lacson-Sotto chairman Senator Bong Revilla said they are now formalizing the adoption of Sara's running mate. Revilla said the public should wait for the quote, dream tandem that will help the country in its fight against pandemic. Ana Capella Velasco, Lacson-Sotto standard bearer, also withdrew her COC. Hours later, PDP Laban bet Senators Bato de la Rosa and Bong Go followed suit. They were accompanied by longtime ally President Rodrigo Duterte, who chairs the ruling party. Go, however, is not completely out of the race as he will now be running for president under the Federalismo ng Dugong Dakilang Samahan or PDDS, replacing the party's original presidential bet, its founder Grepor Belhica. This leaves PDP Laban without presidential and vice presidential candidates, at least for now.
Are you running for senator?
Vice President.
Kakalabanin niyo po ang anak ninyo, sir? Kakalabanin niyo po ang anak ninyo? Sir?
Nag-file ba? Nag-file? Yung anak ko, nag-file ba?
Nag-file na, sir. Kanina, sir. 1 p.m. Sumasagot sa presidente. Sumasagot eh.
Matutumbo na, ma'am. Hindi na lang ako.
Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar explained that Duterte will go back to Comelec on Monday to file his COC as a substitute vice presidential candidate.
Sa Monday, babalik si Presidente dito sa Comelec para magpa-file ang kanyang candidacy for Vice President.
For Vice President?
Okay, so abangan natin ang sunod na kabanata.
Go admits that the decision to vie for the presidency was partly because of Sara's vice presidential bid.
Mahal ko si Pangulong Duterte. Ayaw kong merong masaktan at sumama ang loob. Ako po, kung kailangan po umiwas ako po'y umiwas. Alang-alang na lang po kay Pangulong Duterte at sa mga sambayan ng Pilipino.
When asked whether he is ready to be the next president, given that he only has 3 years of experience in politics, Go has this to say.
Araw-araw ko po, alam ko po ang trabaho ni Pangulong Duterte. Gagawin ko po ang lahat ng aking makakaya tulad ng ginawa ni Pangulong Duterte.
Go also said he's ready to face his contenders, including Sara's possible running mate.
40 days na po akong kandidato bilang Vice President. ako po'y nasagasaan. Kailangan ko pong bumangon para sa mga kapartido ko at sa sambayan ng Pilipino, lalong-lalo na kay Pangulong Duterte. Kailangan ko pong bumangon para sa kanila. Kailangan kong ipaglaban. Save the legacy, save the party.
Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
President Duterte says he will not support former Senator Bongbong Marcos in the 2022 elections. In an exclusive interview with vlogger Banat Bay, Duterte said he will only support the presidency of Senator Bong Go. Duterte added that he will eventually reveal why he will not support Marcos.
Ni minsan wala kayong narinig na mag-Marcos ako. Wala kayong narinig. Kaya okay maniwala niya nagpapagamit. Kailanman hindi ako nagsalita na may susuportahan ako. Si Marcos o si Pac, wala yan sila. Kinakausap ko lang po respeto. Gusto ako makausap. Si Bongbong pumunta yan dito sa malakas kasama yung asawa. Kinausap ko. Pero I never gave a commitment na magsuporta ako sa kanila.
In the same interview, President Duterte also denied being controlled by Senator Bong Go or by anyone else around him. Duterte also said it was him who urged Go to run for president after Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte filed her candidacy for vice president.
Umiiyak si Bong.
Apo.
Sabi ko, huwag kang umiyak. Sabi ko, bakit ka iyak? Mayroon bukas ang presidente. Tumakbo ka. Bakit ka iiyak dyan sa dahilang anak ko sumingit bigla?
Bongbong Marcos and Tito Sotto have emerged as the most preferred candidates for the presidential and vice presidential elections. That's according to a commission survey conducted by SWS from October 20 to 23. Given the list of 6 presidentiables, 47% of respondents said they would vote for Marcos Jr. Vice President Leni Robredo is at the second spot with 18%, and followed by Manila Mayor Isko Moreno with 13%. Senator Manny Pacquiao garnered 9% of the votes, while Senators Ping Lacson and Bato de la Rosa had 5% each. Some 3% of the respondents were undecided. In the vice presidential race, Sotto leads with 44% of the support, followed by Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio with 25%. Tied at third were Senator Kiko Pangilinan and Dr. Willie Ong with 13% each, while Buhay Party List Representative Lito Atienza had 3% of the votes. The remaining 2% are still undecided. Despite leading the vice presidential survey, Senate President Tito Sotto says that these polls only serve as a guide for candidates like him.
Yung mga surveys, we use it as a guide. We use it as a guide. Importante kasi dyan, nung araw, panahon namin nila Fernando Po Jr., 2004, hindi kami naniniwala sa survey pag hindi namin nagustuhan yung figures. Ngayon, yung pala, ang mali pala kami, dapat pala pag-aralan mo. Pag-aralan mo yung demographics, pag-aralan mo yung lugar, ano mga region, kahit mahina ka, kahit malakas ka pa, pag-aralan mo yun. Dahil yun ang guide mo, dapat gagamitin mong guide yun. And later on, after that, 2008, when I was Dangerous Drugs Board Chairman, that was the time that I realized that it could be used as a guide. So kung ano man yung mga resulta niyan, ang importante niyan, hindi lang yung ranking. Tingnan mo yung percentages. Tapos tingnan mo saan galing yung percentages mo. Saan ka mahina, saan ka malakas. Ganun ang style eh. So to me, surveys are a good guide. Use it as a guide.
Let's take a look at where the presidentiables were spotted over the weekend. Senator Ping Lacson was in Negros Oriental with his running mate and Senate President Tito Sotto. The tandem attended an online kumustahan with some local officials and residents to understand their concerns. The in-person gathering was held at the Tangog Community Center in Bacolod City with an estimated crowd attendance of up to 800 people. Meanwhile, Senator Manny Pacquiao spent another weekend in vote-rich Cebu province. Pacquiao was spotted in Cebu City meeting with some medical practitioners, and a huge crowd of residents and fans also trooped to the hotel where he was staying at Saturday night. Many of them were expecting Pacquiao to distribute cash aid, and authorities arrived at the scene. But because of the huge number of people, they found it difficult to implement health protocols. Vice President Leni Robredo was also in Cebu City, where she and her running mate, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, visited the Cebuanon headquarters. Supporters in pink and dancers in colorful costumes welcomed the tandem, as the two led the ribbon-cutting ceremony, following the blessing of their headquarters. Robredo also met with Cebuano lawyers and led the turnover of a 120,000 pesos sustainable livelihood subsidy, the Mabolo Mahiga Vendors Association. Former PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar has taken his oath as a member of the Partido Reforma. This as Eleazar plans to run for senator under the slate of Lacson-Sotto. Eleazar admits that he never planned to do this, but was convinced by Lacson, who is also a former PNP chief. Eleazar officially retired on Saturday, and he is expected to file his COC today as a substitute candidate.
Months ago, nagkaroon ako oportunidad na makausap si Senator Ping Lacson for a different issue concerning us. At tinanong niya sa akin, Gilor, wala ka bang planong tumakbong senador? May mga sinabi siya na pwede kong maitulong kagaya ng kanyang ginawa dahil siya rin dati aming Chief PNP. Being part of the PNP, maaaring ma-enhance itong mga ito, ang disiplina ng ating mga pulisan. So, well, being part of the organization for so long a time, we can have disconnected with other social problems of the country na pwedeng makatulong kung sakali man bigyan ng pagkakataon na manungkulan bilang isang senador.
The 14th Belen Festival in Tarlac proved to be a feast for the eyes, as more colorful and more awe-inspiring entries were featured this year. Here's the story.
Gigantic and colorful Belens took center stage as the 14th Belenisimo Festival kicked off in Tarlac. Now that health protocols have eased up in the city, Tarlaceños and other local tourists came to see the Belens and participate in the festivities. With all the singing and the dancing, the spirit of Christmas is already alive and well in the city. This year, about 50 municipalities and parishes in Tarlac designed Belens to participate in the yearly festival.
Every year, it's always a surprise. You see that creativity of people? It's their hope, it's their dream, it's their vision that they exhibit in their Belens. So, it's a personal relationship at this time of the year for communities and people.
In Barangay Dalanginan and Macara, 2 Belens were created by youth groups who have long been locked up at home due to the pandemic. Old hangers were used to build the Macara Belen, while the Dalanginan Belen was made with old hammocks and native sleeping mats.
Ang mensahe ng Belen ng Macara ngayong taon po ay sa gitna po ng pandemya at pagsubok na pinagdaraanan natin sa araw-araw na buhay. So pinapaalala po niya na merong panibagong bukas na sisinag na magbibigay ng liwanag at pag-asa po para sa ating lahat po.
Meanwhile, DSWD offered a Belen of hope for abandoned and abused children.
Halos 50% po ng materyales niyan mga recycled po, recycled plastic, mga galvanized po na yung mga yero-yero, and then yung po mga lumaring mga Christmas decors.
The Belen of Santa Ignatia's Tagiporo Giants is also a head-turner thanks to all the seashells.
Nagkaroon po kami ng banding habang gumagawa po. Importante po yun kasi po doon po nagkakaroon ng sama-sama yung mga barangay Tagipuro para po ma-show po namin yung unity ng isang barangay.
But AFP, the all-time champion of the festival, wowed with its Locket Belen. According to the Tarlac Heritage Foundation, this year's Belens are more colorful and awe-inspiring than in previous years. The foundation is now hoping that Tarlac's Belenisimo will pave the way for recovery of tourism in the province.
Here are the stories to watch out for later today. Presidential aspirant Calyodi de Guzman is heading to Cebu. Vice President Leni Robredo will be visiting Nueva Ecija. And all eyes are on COMELEC as President Duterte is expected to file his COC for Vice President, as he announced over the weekend. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.